Hey, this is Elijah from PyCalendar, and in this video, I'm just going to show you quickly how to get started with PyCalendar Pro. Once you've downloaded the zip file, you're going to log into your WordPress website, go to Plugins, Add New, and click Upload Plugin. There, you'll be able to choose the zip file and upload it. Next, click Install Now, and then go ahead and click Activate Plugin. Now PyCalendar Pro is installed. You'll also want to go to Settings and go to PyCalendar to enter and activate your license key to ensure you receive future updates. Now, to use PyCalendar, all you have to do is go to any post that you want to show on a calendar on the front end. We'll use Hello World here. And if the post you're editing uses Gutenberg, the calendar settings will be in the Gutenberg sidebar over here. If the post does not use Gutenberg and uses the classic editor view instead, you'll see all of these same options in a meta box. So we've got calendar over here where we can turn this post into an event just by clicking show on calendar. Then we can set the start date and the end date. We can also designate the post as an all-day event. PyCalendar Pro also includes event color and recurrence settings. So we can set the event color. This corresponds to the little dot shown next to the event on the calendar, or the event background for all-day events, and then the text color, which is just the color used to show the event name on the calendar. If this is a recurring event, we can turn on this event repeats. We can then choose an interval and a frequency. So if I wanted it to repeat every 2 days, I would change the interval to 2 and keep the frequency on days. If I wanted it to recur every month, I would change the interval to 1 and change the frequency to month. You can see for frequency, we have days, weeks, months, and years. If you have months selected for your frequency, you'll also have this same weekday and position option. By turning that on, this event will always recur on the same weekday and monthly position that you've scheduled the event for. So if the first occurrence of this event is on the first Sunday of the month, and I enable same weekday and position, then this event will repeat on the first Sunday of every month. If you don't turn this on, then the recurrence is simply based on the date, so this would recur on the 7th of every month. So you have both options, depending on what you need. You can also set a stop date for the recurrence. This is the point at which the event will stop recurring. Now let's make sure our start date makes a little bit of sense here. We'll choose a date in the future from today's date, and our end date will be the same day, but a little bit later in the day. So we're going from 9:25 a.m. to 9:26 p.m. on May 31st. Let's go ahead and update that to save our settings. And now I'll show you how to actually display the calendar. So we'll go back to WordPress, go to Pages, and go to our sample page. And you can see here all I've done is inserted the PyCal shortcode. There are some attributes available as well that will allow you to determine certain things about the way the calendar is displayed, such as locale. We'll do en-us for now. Note that this will cause the calendar to respect the starting day of each week, depending on the locale you've chosen, the language of most of the elements in the calendar, and generally just adapt it to what's appropriate for the locale you've chosen. You can also choose which post type is displayed in this particular instance of the calendar using the type attribute. So in this case, we could type post, though that's the only event we have on our site, so it's not going to make a difference here. We can set the view to something besides the default. By default, it's going to be a normal calendar showing the full monthly grid, but we can do something like list month instead to get a list of all events each month. We can also use the theme attribute to set the theme to dark or adaptive. The dark theme will cause it to use the dark theme colors all the time, whereas adaptive will defer to the user agent preferences for each user. And that's about all the configuration you'll need for the calendar. We're going to get rid of this theme just so it doesn't end up using a dark theme to match my system preferences, since my website doesn't actually use a dark theme at the moment. So we'll update that, and if we view the page on the front end, you can see that we now have our calendar, and it is showing our event on May 31st, 2023. Since we're in the list view, you'll see that we would have a quick at-a-glance overview of all the events this month. But if you prefer a more traditional layout, you can always switch back to the classic view, or don't designate a different default view in the shortcode, and this is what you'll see by default. So that's about all you need to know to get PyCalendar up and running on your website. It's very flexible, very light, and can be applied in many, many different ways. If you have any questions about getting PyCalendar Pro set up on your website, definitely reach out and we'll be happy to help. Again, this is Elijah from PyCalendar, and thank you for watching.